Yeah, thank you. I would love to see some of the examples of the user interface, but from what I see of the back office support that you built here, David, this is really the dream, to rise above all the noise and have your single avatar where you have full governance and control over everywhere on the internet, all your applications, all your security, all your personal data. And then the game sounds like fun. It applies to the real world to inspire kids to pick up litter or to, act from heart-centered leadership, do the right things in their community so that we have a more wonderful world than Ready Player One. And let's see what Ready Player Two is going to look like here.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I just read that in the book last night. Like the James Halliday's business partner, Ready Player One, he quit the company. I can't remember it's called, GSS, because he didn't like what the race has become. He said it become a monster because it basically everything was escaping reality into the races rather than addressing the needs of the world, and like it created a dystopia future, dystopia world, and he quit and he created educational games for kids, like venture games for kids, and that's exactly what this is. This is an educational game platform, not just for kids but for everyone. But my biggest drive is to teach kids the right life lessons rather than playing violent Call of Duty games and GTA and stealing cars and blowing each other up. So it's like, and to get kids out of the bedrooms into nature and reconnecting with each other, like face-to-face interactions. Don't want them to be jacked into the races all day, like in Ready Player One. Like we want to like have breaks and get into nature, encourage face-to-face interactions, and help give people the right life lessons and the tools to build a better world. That's why it's called Together and Create a Better World. It's supposed to be a training platform so we can learn how to create a better world and put our differences aside and come together in unity consciousness. That's why I said it's the parallel evolved utopia version of Ready Player One. I'm like the parallel Anuak from the parallel universe. I'm like the Anuak who had an awakening and realized and is more in his heart than in his head. The other James Halliday was in his head completely and didn't really just wanted to escape from life rather than try to solve the problems. And he didn't do the inner work. The other James Halliday didn't do the inner work, so he just ran away from his problems and went in his head, which is like the autistic journey, like I used to be. Then I turned and faced and done the inner work and healing. And then I'll work on heart energy and love. And now I'm building this, which is the reflection of that inner work. First time I said like that. That's quite a nice way of putting it.
Beautiful,
so,
beautiful.
Yeah. I just came from my heart. I just came out of my heart. I started to understand in 7 years, because the first 7 years was the inner work and building foundations and me doing the inner work and transforming. Because you met me 10 years ago, I was like James Halliday at Ready Player One. I was like him, complete. I couldn't do this. I couldn't talk. I stuttered. I never way. No way could I talk to the public. I was really like eccentric and autistic. And now I'm ready to like reflect it in. Now that inner work, now it's time to reflect that on the outer. Now this is the manifestation of that inner work. This is like the conscious version of the conscious Oasis, not just escaping the world Oasis.
So to be clear, we were talking about augmented reality and mixed reality and virtual reality, because people sometimes just think of the Oasis as just escaping into another place, but we're talking about integrating virtual with physical in a seamless way. It's basically recreating the world, creating a mirror world of the real world, whatever real is, but through these gradations of reality, which is, again, to really interconnect us all much better and reconnect us with what's important, with nature, and at the same time expand our consciousness. So how many lines of code are there in there, David?
I haven't done a count recently. So I had to do it soon. I'll find it after. I've got a little script that runs. I think quite a lot. I can show you. It's 51 projects now. So it said it's like, I don't know. I think it's like 300,000. It's probably at least that. It's 51 projects, and it all started I started this I've been designing and doing R&D, and I really got going properly with it last year when I made it open source, and I built HoloNet. This is how it began. This is the first project here, HoloNet, and that was to connect the holochain to .NET and Unity, and basically it's a holochain client, a .NET client. And this is that was the core part of it, and then it just, I went on, and then there's a ramp, and all this came out of that kind of thing. So holochain was at the core of it, And this is why you see this holochain app. That's the first holochain zone, our world zone I created, and that's the Rust code. And that's like the old holochain conductor. But of course, holochain was alpha, and they kept like moving the goalposts and kept changing. I focused more on the .NET, on the stuff that built around it. And now ISM's come out. I've got a feeling that now it's stabilizing more. So now I'm going to be going back into updating this. There's the problem. I wrote all this on the old holochain, so now I have to rewrite this. Like, I hope I can reuse a lot of it, but I'm going to have to create a new holonet. Holonet RSM is going to be called. And then basically, I'm just going to go very. I'm coming back into show you the code more in a minute. I'm just going to show you the structure, the folder structure, so you get an idea of the actual architecture, really high level. So you've got the holonet client, which I said connects to Unity and Windows desktop and .NET, and then you've got holonet HDK. That's a holochain developer kit. The Blazor is really powerful. Not sure you heard of that. That's a thing with .NET, and that's basically you can run WebAssembly on the web, a web client. So all your C# code runs in the browser, and it compiles to WebAssembly. So do you know how powerful that is? So that'd be completely WebAssembly front end, WebAssembly back end. Holochain compiles to WebAssembly, and .NET HDK Blazor compiles to WebAssembly. This is another thing that's going to be a world first. It's going to be, I haven't announced this yet, but it's kind of announcing it now. The university's telling me to get on with Blazor. So this is where I'm going to go next as well. It's so much to do. I get overwhelmed because there's so many directions. I can see so much in my mind, and it's just overwhelming what way to go next. But each one is amazing. And Blazor is like yeah. So basically, so you have WebAssembly, so you know it's like much faster, and that's it's like compiled, natively compiled code that runs in the web browser. So that's basically just to non-techie people. That's fast. That means a lot faster websites, much more powerful, interactive things, and better do things on the web that you couldn't do before. And it's like no plugins, no sandbox required. It can run on any browser, any platform, run on your phone, and it's really lightweight and super fast. So then that's only possible with .NET Blazor, and then holochain backend is WebAssembly as well. So that's going to be, when I get that working, it's going to be kick-ass. This is a little prototype. I was trying to get holochain conductor integrated into Blazor. Then holochain is running, so if WebAssembly is running inside WebAssembly, WebAssembly talking to WebAssembly embedded in the browser in real time, and that will blow holochain's mind, because that's the problem they've been trying to solve with the Holo network. Mark might appreciate this probably the most. They've been trying to like do the Holo network and a thing called Shrapnel, and basically distributing running holochain apps in a browser, and then it's like allocating the work to different holo ports connected to the Holo network. Well, if I get this working, that means that you don't even need that part. You can just run the entire holochain application in the browser fully compiled. So you can compile the holochain app and run it in the browser, because the Blazor will compile it all into the browser, or native code. So you don't even need enough middleware. We're only using Cloudflare to allocate all these things, but this bypasses the whole step. This is the future, and that's why I know I can see it. I'm visionary. I can see the technology is now, but I see 5-10 years time, and I know that's going to be freaking game changer. So you know, it might not look like much there, but that's where that's going. That's the bet. So you heard it here first. That's where I'm going with that. And then there's a command line interface into the HDK. This is the star thing I talked about. It started off with the HDK, but it's actually the ODK now. So that's a holochain developer kit, but that's actually the OASIS developer kit. And this is quite cool. This is where I got really excited, and this is where I was going mental on Telegram, and it's getting everyone's excited. This is a star. I said that creates bodies, and it has star DNAs, and it creates planets and moons, and it has star DNA, and it has zones and holons, and basically it's a merger of Chris's and holochain's work. That's why someone mentioned Chris's holonic new map holoweb had a love child with holochain, and then sprinkle some OASIS magic dust on it. That's what this is. This is like the combine of that. So I was inspired by holochain and Chris's work. I added my visionary OASIS stuff, and that's the output. So this is going to be massive. And this basically uses Rust. It uses Rust templates and C# templates, and it merges the power of Rust and C# together. So the best of both worlds. So Rust automatically generates the underlying Rust code for holochain, and it automatically generates the C# Rust code that runs on top of it. And that's the core of the OASIS. That's what creates the moons and satellite apps and it's called star. And star is like, it's like the star, because it's going to be a star. It's going to be bright. It's going to be shining so bright, and that's why the first planet star creates is our world. And I think I created. I'm going to create a new video of that soon. So you've got the celestial bodies, and I won't go too into code. And see, you've got zones and holons and genesis type. Sorry, I can't speak today. That's the type of thing you're creating. God, it's ages to look at this code. I miss it. It's star, planet, moon, and this is the level. So level 1. After level 1, you can only create moons. That's your OASIS applications. But when you level up to level 33, you can create planets. And when you come like God and you level 99, you can create stars. And eventually there'll be more. You can create galaxies, then universes, and it's a God training platform. So this is where it's at the minute. So you can create moon, planet, and stars. But in future, you're ready to create like whole galaxies and universes and things. This is what I saw in my vision when I was going fucking ape. I was having a complete ecstasy downloads in the bath for crystals, and I was like, oh my, on Lionsgate at 8 portal. This is where this all came to.
I'm curious to know, sorry, Mark, are you there? Because you are very active on the holochain ecosystem, and I would love to hear some thoughts from you. That's...
Yeah,
Hello, Mark.
beautiful. Finally, I got here. Sorry for the delay. I'll catch the other recording piece, the first hour, when I get access to the recording. But yes, beautiful, beautiful, David. I was particularly, one word caught my ear as you were going through the some of the holochain pieces where you mentioned a holochain client, and that seems kind of an odd phrase in a way. Just in the way holochain works. So I was just wondering if you could clarify what you meant by holochain client, and then I see when you have WebAssembly on both ends, WebAssembly talking to WebAssembly, how I can see how you're getting some of these interfaces and the APIs for these systems. It's a beautiful model, beautiful model. And now the star DNA stuff, I'm very, very interested in, of course. And I would love to have another dialogue with you about the God training platform.
Yeah, this is like the groundwork of like what I've been seeing my visions for years and years, and it's just exciting to actually start building it. Like, you know, got to start somewhere, and this was actually it's hard to see because when you guys see it, you guys just see code, but when I see it, I see this, but I see what it creates in my head. I can see what it renders. I can see the OASIS. I can see that this is the code that creates the OASIS. It's hard to explain. You know how as a programmer, a technical person will get what I mean. You kind of see the download, the blueprint, holographic blueprint in my mind, and then this is the universe has built this, and then I see where this leads to, like, kind of thing. It's just like step one. So to me, I got really excited. I was like, just got crying in tears when I was building this. I was so excited. But I'll answer your question, like, what's it? Oh yeah, the holochain client. So that's what I built up, the HoloNet, and that's basically it's just because the holochain client, like a minute, the existing holochain client is only a web client, and you have to write your holochain code in JavaScript. So you have to use JavaScript code and you write like your web UI in React or Angular or something, you know, JavaScript client library, and then you use the existing holochain web client, which is just some JavaScript code, to then call into your holochain conductor, which is the back end. What I built, I reverse engineered it and looked at how it worked, looked at the JSON packets, I went back and forth and looked at the network stack, and I rewrote it in .NET. So then, like, it's basically a JSON RPC, you know, JSON procedure call is at the core of it. And that's basically what HoloNet is at the core, is just JSON RPC. But that was fun. I wrote that in Buenos and Bali, and again I was on the beach and I was taking ages and ages. I sat there like laying on a sun lounger on the beach with a laptop, like screening the sun blazing down on me, like manically trying to figure it out, getting really stressed because there's no documentation and again it wasn't much help.
You have no questions? I
was trying to build like stuff that no one's built before, and I was just like getting really frustrated because I had no help. It's no one could ask anyone.
Mark has a question. Mark has a question.
I'm letting him go because he's kind of answering some of my other questions as
I'm sorry.
close.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was just like, and then when I finally managed to connect to Holochain through .NET, I was like jumping up and down on the beach, and like people looking at me, I was like, yes, yes. I was like, woo! I shouted out, woo, really loud. You know, when you're programming, like finally, that's the first point. That was the first like world first when I finally got .NET to talk to Holochain, and this is where I made history with the HoloNet part. And then yeah, so that answers. So I hope that makes sense to that part. And another question was the Blazor HDK. And that was basically because Blazor is like a technology built with .NET, which is really powerful, and the .NET community are very excited by it, and I know why, because it's the future, and that can compile .NET a web application down to WebAssembly, so you can. Because just a background, normally you write your web application, you got a backend code which would be C# in .NET land, and the front end would be JavaScript, normally JavaScript and HTML, CSS, talking to a .NET backend, or it could be like PHP, Python, or whatever you're running. But now with Blazor, it's the first time you can run the C# code can compile into the browser as well. So you have the C# backend code, and you have the C# front end code. So that's the power of Blazor, and that's massive. And then what I was going to do was integrate the HoloNet client you see here inside the Blazor, and then it wasn't. I'm not bitching or anything, but it wasn't for Holochain continuously changing the goalposts, it would have been done by now. Like originally, before I brought NixOS out, I had the Holochain conductor was integrated inside the HoloNet, and I could fire up the Holochain conductor like on the fly. You didn't need to start it automatically. It automatically did it by itself, and it could automatically start up and shut down the Holochain conductor from .NET. That was really powerful. And then that was first stage one. Then I was going to integrate that into the HDK Blazor here. Like I said, so then you could have then the whole thing could run the whole Holochain application integrated inside a web page, inside a browser. So you see what I mean? Then WebAssembly talking to WebAssembly with the conductor fully integrated inside the browser because it's running WebAssembly. As long as, but anything I've got to check is Blazor allow you to do that because it's security permissions. I think it will because it's sandbox. So like it'd be a sandbox thing. And the power of Blazor as well, you can run it offline. So if your network connections goes down, just like because it's compiled. Because it hasn't talked to the server, because the code is all running natively in the client, you can. So, do you see what I mean? And
yep.
So those two tech stacks are made for each other. Blazor and Holochain work so well together, and no one's put them together yet. So that's what I'm going to work on. But one of the many things I want to work on. This is why I need help because there's so many really exciting, pioneering things I want to do. But it's kind of I keep trying to prioritize what way to go next. But that really excites me because. Then basically it can fully integrated self-contained in the browser, and then as the web internet goes down, you can carry on using the application, talking to Holochain in the conductor because it's running locally in the browser. The code doesn't have to go to the server because it's talking to the conductor in the browser, and when it reconnects to the internet, the Holochain conductor can sync across with the other nodes, the Gossip protocol. You know how Holochain works. It can then sync your data with the other peers in the network. That's going to be freaking massive, and you don't need the Holo network now. You don't need a Holo network. You don't need a chaperone. You don't need a third man. You don't need any middle layer. It bypasses the middle layer completely. You don't need a Cloudflare because that is truly decentralized then. Because right now Holochain isn't fully decentralized because you need the middleware. You need a Cloudflare, which is that's a point of failure, a central point of failure. If that Cloudflare goes down or is vulnerable to attack. Then because that still needs to chaperone the connections, that matches up the browser request to the different holoports running. But with this technology that I want to build, you don't need to do that. It'd be fully self-contained. It'd be the whole Holochain application would be contained inside the browser. So that's going to be like when Art Now can understand what I'm building there, I think they're going to get pretty excited because that's going to be massive for Holochain. That's going to be like.
Okay. Were there changes in the RSM implementation that were challenging to change, or were they just make it more streamlined because a lot of the debugging stuff got moved?
Yeah, that's the thing. I've started looking at ISM. That's the thing. I hadn't much time because basically when ISM came out, when I just stopped coding, I basically started working on. I started doing interviews and updating the website and the blogs and the video and stuff. So that's what I'm about to jump back into now. I've started looking at ISM.
Okay, yeah, there's a lot of really cool changes.
Yeah,
and now we had another.
I've been following it. Yeah, it's like 10,000 times faster supposedly. That's
Yes.
quite a leap.
Yeah, Red
It's
Grid
quite an improvement.
demonstrated that. It was quite wonderful to see.
Yeah.
It just kind of jumped right in at Monash, and it really performed very well. But I would love to hear also about any changes in .NET during the revisions that have come out.
Yeah, and that's the other thing as well. That's why this is very exciting. Like November is a very bloody exciting month. I knew November was all going to get lit up because .NET 5 come out on the 10th of November. RSM's just come out, and then Ready Player 2 come out. I knew that was an omen for the universe. I knew November was when the shit hits the fan, the shift hits the fan, because it's like that's not a coincidence. It's Ready Player 2, .NET 5, and Holochain RSM, and you put those two Holochain RSM plus .NET 5 equals the OASIS. That's the equation. So you add these two together, and it's like, holy crap, that's why Ready Player 2 come out. It's not, you know, the universe doesn't make coincidences. That's divinely timed. And that's like Lewis says, it's time. I think it's time, you know, and then like this by November going to December, it's all going to start to really happen now. Because .NET 5 has also got massive improvements too. .NET 5 has got like Blazor improvements, mostly performance improvements, and it's got the Quick protocol. So, like Holochain RSM now uses Quick protocol. It's a new new transport like technology, and .NET 5 has that built in as well. So all the new things that Holochain using, .NET 5 has that built in as well. And gRPC I want to start looking at as well, because the current OASIS API is a RESTful API, a REST service. And then I want to do a GraphQL one and a gRPC, and that's looking at that. That's like using HTTP 3 protocol, and like really fast. And then you can use that with Quick, and then you use that with Holochain RSM and Blazor.NET. So it's all WebAssembly. You see what I mean? This is the next gen technology, man. When you combine all those tech stacks together, it's like it's instant. It's going to be so fast. Because I can't wait to see the speed of that.
I would love to also hear you talk about HoloWeb and Chris's work, but also IPFS and what you've been playing with in that area.
Yeah, so like so I said, you're not sure when you joined the call. I was just saying like, this is what I got really excited with the HDK I started building, which now when I started building it's a HDK, but it evolved quickly into the OASIS DK. Originally it was just to build on the HoloNet, and it was just allow people to create holochain applications in .NET, so then you don't have to do the low-level Rust code. So when it generates it, because it's a templating engine. So this is how I am answering your question, so you know this is how I build up to it. So then you have like your C# template code and your Rust template. So this is like CRUD methods, create, update, delete, types, zone. This is the star core zone. So this is Holochain, the old Holochain code. Holochain Redux is known as. And the powerful thing about this is that this engine can support both the whole Holochain Redux, and also it can support the new one, the new RSM one, because it's a templating engine. So people can come in and edit the templates and build their own templates. So that this will likely generate the code from here, and then you can have RSM. So if RSM 10 comes out, you don't have to rewrite this. You just create a new templates for that. You go, okay, create a new folder RSM. And that's so it wasn't a complete rewrite for me. So luckily I designed it right. So it's a templating engine, and then that's how it started off. And then it grew and grew into this whole star system, star DNA, and then it can create like planets and moons. And that's inspired by Chris's work from HoloWeb and NewMap. And because Chris is a talking, walking fractal in Holons. He loves Holons, and that's the base object of OASIS. Every base object is a Holon, and everything inherits from a Holon. And this star DNA is what combines holons and zones. So this takes the paradigm of agent-centric zone-based programming and Chris's HoloMap programming, and sprinkles some OASIS magic dust on it, and that's what this is. This is like the synergy of those three work, and that's why this is my highest excitement. And I think this universe is telling me for ages to go back to this, because this is when I talk about it and work on this is when I get most excited, because this is going to be really big. I think this is where it's combined in two parts. This is the groundwork how HoloWeb is going to integrate with Holochain as well. This is how HoloWeb talks to Holochain and talks to OASIS and the avatar karma system, and yeah, and then the IPFS, like I haven't started playing with IPFS yet. I've had a quick look at it. That's one of the providers that needs to be built. So I've got, I think it's down here. Yeah, the stub method. So this is like just so this is a good time to show you guys actually. This is how you create it. Each provider inherits from a thing called OASIS storage base, and it implements either two interfaces: the OASIS storage interface or OASIS network. So you've got network is like holochain, like talking to, hopefully you can work out what that means. Network is networking, so different things can talk, different nodes talking to each other, and storage is storage. So IPFS provider is going to implement both of them. And then you have base methods in there, like delete avatar, git holons near me, git players near me, load the avatars, load the avatar, overloads for loading it, so you can get by ID, username. Provider key is what's relevant to that provider. So in holochain, that's a hash, and like in blockchain might be a hash, but in MongoDB or SQLite, which is what I've got implemented already, that would be an ID. Just so you know, because I think you missed the first part. So far we've got holochain, Ethereum, EOSIO, SQLite, and MongoDB. That's what's implemented so far, and very soon it'll be threefold and IPFS. So like if I show you like Holo Oasis, so this is the holochain implementation of that. Yeah. Bear in mind, it's like a lot of commented out code, but basically this is an example of calling HoloNet. So this is where it's connecting to it's WebSockets, by the way. It's WebSockets and JSON RPC under low level stuff. So this is where it's HoloNet client. That's the .NET. What's the HoloNet client that connects to holochain? This is like calling it, and then it's calling zone functions. There's the our world zone and the load avatar function, and then passing in the address that's the hash. That's just a little example. It's nice to see some real code, I guess. This is like actual, it's nice to make things concrete rather than just abstract all the time. So this is actual real concrete implementation. So that's like was built again a long time ago. This is like built in Bali last year. It's evolved a little bit since then, but yeah. And this is like the holochain avatar, and let's see address hashes and having to do some Rust holochain stuff where it doesn't like nulls. You've got to turn it into empties.
I
This is
have
all,
another question related to this. Yeah. Thank you for that. To see the how that build out. The versus integration. How do you see working with HSTP or HSML in how that's designing more for these virtual platforms? And how do you see that integration of how they're trying to streamline and or load the client with all kinds of extra information, which is what I see actually happening with holochain anyway. I see the same issue with doing these virtual worlds over, yes, faster networks, but it's still a lot more data to be transmitting. How do you see the integration with Versus?
Yeah, well, one is like Versus kind of like is the next part, because I'm going to do holochain RSM, then threefold, and then Versus. So I haven't really done any deep dive in Versus, but I think that's about to happen, because I think I said before you joined as well, I've just reached out to Dan. So if you guys can help me with that, actually, I've just sent Dan an email a few days ago.
We can.
So maybe if you guys could chase up Dan, because this is quite really important that we do start talking about that, because then I can answer your question more on that, because that's exactly why I think I kept getting signs, Unified saying, Dan will help, contact Dan. I kept getting Versus for ages. First it was holochain Cs, and now I've got them ticked. Now it's saying Versus. And threefold. So they're the next two things on my radar. But what I saw in the presentation, because I've only saw the Versus website and read a bit of the spatial web, and now I got really excited. So that is going to be, it's divine timing. So I think next year when I bring the SDK out in I think January, I think you said next year, that's when exactly the right time we'll start really building out the our world smartphone prototype. You know, the smartphone prototype right now is a 3D map of the world, and just like them, and it's gamifying the whole world. And that's why it's design timing. So I built a low-level architecture to connect holochain and the providers, and I built a few. So it's all ready for the developers to jump in, and that's what I want to help. The holochain developer, the .NET developers, I want to build out the providers to connect them all, and I want Unity developers to help build out the front end. because the architecture I've done, so the architecture I've already built. I've built the magic clue. I built the tree. The tree's built. I need help building the branches basically, and Versus is like one of the branches. But I think Versus, some things like Versus and Freefold and Holochain are actually part of the trunk. They're like core infrastructure components, and I see like Versus being enabling me to do all the next magic part. Basically, that's why I love, like Lumi said early on, I don't know how to build Oasis myself. That's why I loved when I Holochain and I saw Freefold and especially Dan and Versus. I was like, oh my God, this is going to speed up development of the Oasis so much because I don't have to build the whole thing from the ground up. It's just plug and play. It's like Lego. It's just plugging Lego together. And that's what this is. I built the super glue. Yeah, so I built this glue. The glue's here. The super glue, the Oasis is built already. The tree trunk's here. This is what I'm showing you. This is the architecture that allows all of them to talk to each other. This is the code. It enables everything to talk to each other based around the core avatar karma system. And now it's ready for people to plug and play. Literally, just plug in the new Lego bricks, plug in more providers, fill out these providers down here. So I've created, got Tron, Freefold, Telos, Seeds, SQLite, Scuttlebuds, Plan, MongoDB. You see HoloWeb. Holochain, I see Holochain's done, Hashgraph's coming, Ethereum's done, OASI's done, Chainlink's half done, Blockstack's half done, ActivityPub, and there's tons more you've probably seen on the website. This is just what I see as a priority order. This is what I'm feeling, what needs to be built out next. And then Versus is going to be more special. Versus is like it kind of maps over all this kind of thing. Like you said, it's a whole protocol. That's why I think Dan is actually, Holochain and Seeds has been really important, but I think Dan is one of the most important next connections of Freefold, like because his thing isn't just a provider; it's like the whole trunk. Because he's like similar journey to me. When I watched, by the way, I finally finished watching the playback for it, and oh my God, that's what I'm gonna do. I shared a video, not video, the email I sent him. I'll share the email I'll do a blog post with the email I sent him, and you'll see the parallels when he's talking about. We had the little man has to build the protocols. Little man has to build the API because Google, Microsoft, that can't build it because no one else will use it. And that's exactly why we're building it. Me and Dan have been on such a similar path because the OASIS API is just such a similar journey to what he's been building, the protocol. And what he's talking about, how it's really slow, and eventually it gathers speed. Eventually you go around the corner and it takes off. And me and him are both at the point where it's about to take off. Like this, I've been building this on my own, slowly. And now we're about to plug it. When we integrate his work and this work with the Holochain integration we've already got, and Ethereum, EOSIO, and Freefold will be very soon. By the way, I have just so you know, I've done a lot of research into Freefold and Seeds. So Seeds and Freefold, I have got like doing bits of code like prototyping. So I started playing around with SDKs already. So they're kind of half done. To see, you know, so it's not completely fresh. And Versus, I'm waiting to get the SDK. I can't wait to get hold of the SDK. That's what I've asked him in the email. I want to try and get an early release. So if you guys can if you can get like a closed beta, you must have like an early preview. I'd love to get hold of that SDK sooner rather than later, because then I guys really get what.
Well, I wish we would have crossed paths. I wish David, you and I would have crossed paths back in the let me see, in the mid 90s and leading up to, because I worked on what was called interactive television architectures. And when we did the prototypes with a cable network and then a DSL network, but we had to do the satellite networks, which is really challenging to do interactive television work via satellite. But you've captured a lot of the architecture that was actually needed back then. And this is what I was saying, is that, yes, you have to do a lot of pre-caching and a lot of local client stuff, and have both server and client locally. And that ended up being like Holochain's architecture and what you've done here in combining a lot more client loading, so that you can really perform all of these amazing interfaces as well as the graphics. So well done. And like I said, I wish we had I think we connected outside of time.
Yeah, quantumly.
Yep.
Quantum, yeah, we're outside of the time. So.
That's right. So very well done.
Thank you. It's just nice to actually show some code. I kind of think so it makes it more solid, because I've been talking about it for a while, but this is actually grounds it a bit more. Yeah. and this is so inspired. Like, I'm inspired a lot by Holochain and Chris's work, and this is why you've got things like DNA and zones and hodons in here. And then I've added what I was really seeing and combining the HoloNet. So this is like the beginning, because it's exactly what it is. A star is the nuclear reaction, and a star is where the fusion of all these technologies happens. The star is what brings it all together, and that's why if people could see where this is going to go, because I don't know if can I actually I might just show one quick thing. Bear in mind, I'm not sure this is all compiled because I haven't actually ran this for ages. I can actually start up the star. I can fire the star up. But this is where I got to. I was halfway through development, and I dropped it when I met Mark, the other Mark. It's all the Marks. My best friend in university was called Mark, by the way, Mark Ashworth.
Kane.
And then Mark Kane is bringing the money, and then Mark Wagon, and then you're going to be bringing the tech side of it and the networking, and it's like it always seems to be Marks and Loomies now. But I got a thing with Marks. I don't know what it is. It's like yeah. So this is what this is the .NET HTTP CLI. Yeah. Oh yeah. So I'm remembering now. So you talk about Lumi. You light it up. So the command to build is called light. So you star light. So star light is what builds the OASIS application. And I think actually, remember right? Hang on. It's like a flashback for me now. Yeah. So this is something that's important to show actually. Thank you. I completely forgot about this. This is quite exciting. So you got star, beam in, beam out. That's how you log in. That's how you log in with your avatar. You beam in, beam out, and you star light, and you pass in the DNA folder of the thing you want to build. The folder to the C# templates, which is the Genesis folder, the Rust Genesis folder. That creates the planet, OAP, or the moon at the given folder, the Genesis location, and from the given OAP DNA. And then you've got Starlight Transmute. That basically converts legacy applications like HApps and DApps into an OASIS application. You transmute the DNA into star DNA. And then, I was really on one when I was doing this. It's really challenging. And Star Flare it actually builds it, compiles it. Star Shine launches and activates when you can shine your application into the world. Shine the star's light upon it, and that brings it to life. Star Dim deactivates it. Star Seed deploys the planet OAP. Star Twinkle deactivates the planet OAP application. Star Dust deletes it. Star Radiate. Star Radiate highlights the planet OAP applications in the StarNet. A StarNet is the OAP store. The OASIS application store is called StarNet. As admin owning that function. Star emits, what's that? I show my, each application, you can show how much light it's emitting. So each application, so which each moon and star, I never shared this, one of my downloads. So you can see in the digital twin of the solar system I created, each planet and star which plugs into the OASIS application, the more light they create for the planet, the more light it brings to the world. So the more, the more avatars are leveling up in that application, say planting trees in the rainforest or doing self-help app, the brighter that star, brighter that moon or planet will shine. And the brighter planet, and the bigger it grows as well, it actually grows bigger. The moon and worlds grow bigger as the more users that log into it, so gravity. And then the bigger they get, they move closer and closer to the sun. So that the gravitational pull, so they actually as they come brighter and brighter, they move towards the sun. That's how I see the race. That's the beginning of the races. That's like the digital twin. That's the UI to this. So when I was building this, I've seen the UI. That's why I was building these commands. And this is like the command line interface. And then star reflect, gives you stats of the planets. Star evolve, upgrade, update to the latest version. Star mutate, import and export them. That's what I said earlier on. You can import Holochain applications or dApps or legacy applications. Star love, you send and receive love. Like that's like you know when you like things, that's when people can like an app. So you can light a planet or light a moon, and then that's like an app. Starburst is view network stats, management settings, and Star Super reserve for future use. Yeah, I had some ideas of that.
This
And then
this aligns with
it's crazy, isn't it?
some of the nesting holons that that Hilo is playing with right now, including the nodes that are usually individuals or pods that are small groups, or communities that are groups of pods or nodes, and then the networks, and then the movements. And building this out, there's so much good stuff here on what you're working on. It's like you're setting the target for what they're working on, where they're going, and then also because they're owned by Holochain and they have Holochain integration coming, they're also working with Harlan Wood now, also on Trust Graph. And when you start getting that trust graph in there, that can be like a gravitational field, which is really, really useful.
So that's why
Especially
we're all
for
downloading
doing,
the same thing.
what's that?
Wow. So you carry on. I was just saying, I said we're all downloading the same thing. Like we're all like seeing a mountain from different sides of it. And like, because I see a long way into the future, like you're saying, like I see this stuff and I see people building towards it. But this is kind of like where it's going, like the end game. And then we meet in the middle, kind of thing. So it's like it's beautiful how we're going to like join up. So carry on talking. Don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, it's beautiful. This and gravity works kind of like love does. Love is a magnetic field, right? And it draws unity, right? Like gravity does, and like Trust Graph does. And that helps so much with even on the social aspects, the economic aspects, the governance aspects, all are beautifully interwoven with that. That's why I've always thought that Harlan's contribution to Core Network was so beautiful. Actually, he gave a talk at the Economic Space Agency on a platform called Gravity. And you should talk to Harlan someday. He's now working. He's now working with. It looks like he's working with Hilo, at least on kind of an associated basis.
That's why, like, it's funny. Like, I reached out to Dan a few days ago, but also reached out to the Core Network. And Mark's now connected to Adam Apollo. And I'm trying to. I want to call with him. And
he'd be great to help out on the UI UX pieces.
Yeah, because that's what they're building. Because I saw bits of the planets and stuff, and that overlaps with Chris's HoloWeb things. Because I didn't realize all this time. Because when you look at HoloWeb and NewMap, I'm not sure you saw Chris's work, and it's all about solar systems and orbits. And then you look at Core Network, and it's all orbiting. And then I was in the bath, and I saw my part of it. I thought, oh my God, I saw the digital twin on the solar system. And I tapped in to the other part of what they're building. I knew when I saw the solar system in my head, I saw the solar system, but I saw the code. I saw this code. And I thought, oh my God, this is my bit. This is how I plug into that. And I know we're all building the same bits. Like we're building different parts of it. And that's why I saw how the universe, you get glimpses of the universe's plan. You're like, oh my, and I'm just like in ecstatic like bliss. I was just like, oh, I was just wetting myself. And I don't know, you follow me on Telegram. This is in August to September, and I was blowing up Telegram, and I was just wetting myself. And people don't understand my manic outburst. I was proper James Halliday manic, like, oh my God, I was just like, because I've seen these planets and moons and solar system, and I saw the code. Because I not only see the visual part, but I see the, you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like an Iron Man thing. You see the planets, but then like in my mind, I can see the holographic, like the code that makes the planet in my mind. I can see the code that generates it, and that's what I started building.
Yep. Yeah. It's
sense.
like the architect in the Matrix, right?
Yeah. That's what it is. It's like that. But unfortunately, when in my mind, it was so quick and easy. When I actually on the keyboard coding, it's like it takes a lot longer to manifest it than I would like, because I'm in 5D all the time, and in my mind, it's so fast to create. Yeah. But like when I actually got to translate it to 3D technology, you see C#.net, it's like, oh,
you gotta really be in the
flow.
You have to be in the flow state, and even then, then you don't have sleep.
Yeah, that's the problem. And I ended up working late because when it's hard to stop coding when you're in the flow, it was so hard to stop coding because it was just like, oh, hang on a minute, I've got to plug my charger in. Yeah, it's so hard to stop because when you're on a manic rush, manic when you're in the zone, it's so hard to like come out of it. Yeah, so shall I just like quickly just get the rest of the overview of it, because it's like I don't want to like go on too long, and then I could take some more questions at the end if people have or something. Is
Yeah,
that
let's
okay?
do it.
Just like I don't want to make it too long, so I just so that's basically the star stuff, and then I can do more deep dive in this later on. And also, this code is all available. It's an open source, so it's on a GitHub repo, so people can dig into this code and get excited and give feedback, and even more, be more amazing, that can help code it as well. That'd be awesome too. Yeah, so this DNA was just like, I think I already talked about it, the folders. It's a template engine. So basically it mashes up Rust code with C# code and then spits out planets and moons. But the star is the generator. The star is like the engine. That's like the OASIS engine. The core of the OASIS is star. Obviously, the star is going to be the core. And I realized that recently. So they can see the holochain conductor port, the client type desktop. That can be Unity or desktop. And then star provider key, and that's the different template files which can be customized, which are all in here. So you've got C# and Rust code. And then I think the only thing I wanted to show was oh yeah, so you got oh right, yeah, and then this is the Moon DNA template, and I think yeah, there's zone templates and things, and because this can load in hold-ons, and it's a template, and so it swaps things out. But I won't go too far into this. So basically, hopefully you understand what it's doing, kind of thing. You might have to go into. I might deep dive more into this bit later on, maybe in the next call or something, because I could talk for a long time just about the star bit. It's quite a lot to take the OASIS in all in one go. But then the rest of it, just briefly, is and then this is where I'm going to do entity framework. Like .NET has something called entity framework, and that's like an object relationship management system. You probably heard of it, and that's a bit like what inspired me to start the Holochain HDK. So it's basically wraps the CRUD methods, create, update, delete. Very simple, so you can load an object and you update the properties and you save it. And you don't have to worry about all the update statements and delete statements and all the low-level code. So when you're working on a Holochain on this HDK, which is now the ODK, you just load. You can just load the object that you saw there in a star, what it looks like, and just create the. You just create the object and you just update your properties, and you press call.save on it. But in Holochain, it's a lot more complicated. You know, the low-level Rust code that it generates. But in the back end, it does all that, hides it away for you. So that's this bit here is linking that into the entity framework. Basically, exposes it even more. Because my HoloNet stuff exposes things into the .NET community massively, but with entity framework, that's really used in a lot of businesses. So this is massive for enterprise as well. So when I finish that bridge, that's like a bridging in there, which I started doing. That's going to be huge. One last thing. Oh yeah, it's down here. So I'm excited now. That's what I was just talking about early on. So here, that's what I say, that you can beam in, so you can see avatar. I start at beam in, logging in with my username and password, and then you get back your avatar objects, and then successfully beamed in, and I got my karma, my level. This is like a real world bit, and then this is about generating the planet, our world, starlight, Genesis planet, Genesis type is planet or moon, our world, the DNA folder for our world, the Rust code folder, the C# folder, and then the namespace of where it is, and then like then if it successfully generates to our world, then it returns that it's a celestial body, and then on that world you're on holons loaded, on holons saved, on error. So our world loads all the zones and holons inside the our world, and then you can create a new holon, call it test data description, and then you just call the holon type.park. So holon is like tongues, as you see, like this, or avatar, bus station, cafe, moon, park, planet, player, crest, restaurant, star, train station, and zone. But it'll be tongues more, because I said holon is like the base object. So this is creating a park, and then and you just save, and you just do save holon. That's it. If you look at the Holochain Rust code, it's way more to do that. Like, and then this might handles the linking and everything else behind there. Oh yeah, and when you call Flare to create your to actually build it, it returns a coronal injection. The flare outputs a coronal injection. I've got quite creative with my names. And then this is like activating and launching. And this is what I explained early on. This is actually calling those different methods, and Twinkle running your tests. Yeah, and then this is like just callback methods. And this is like when a holon's saved, and then you've got the different provider keys and the name description. And this is sort of wrapping around the HoloNet you saw earlier on. So behind the scenes, this is using HoloNet, you know, in the back end. So it's different layers. You mean architecture? It's different layers. So this is the highest layer now. The next layer of this is the UI. This is like so you've got the HoloNet, which is the base layer, which is talking to HoloChain conductor. Then you've got the OASIS, which is then connects HoloNet into the OASIS API, and then you've got Star, and then this builds actually building the planets and moons, the actual applications that plug into the OASIS. And then on top of this is Core Network and HoloWeb and the UI and Versus, you know, the actual user interface stuff. That makes sense. So that's the bit I just wanted to show you really. And then and this I've just glanced over because we're coming to the end now and everything's tired. So this is like a bridge between Node, you know, Node.js. This is so like this. I built this in Bali, so I can talk to HoloWeb. So because Chris's stuff's built in Node.js, so this is now.NET to talk to Node.js. So I built that. OASIS API core is where the avatar is. Avatar type, wizard or user. The wizard is an admin user. Different buildings, coronal injection, events, all sorts of things. And Karma type. Look, let's just give you an idea. You get Owl picking up litter, helping people, defending players, defending the base, being selfless, be a hero, be a Superman, be a superhero, be a team player, being present,
I'd love to see the gene keys in this section.
Yeah, this is what's open, because this is all like an example implementation. Like I just built the architecture, but you can see when people plug it in, all the bits and that, because this is like the branches coming into here. This is just an example of all the types of, you know, Karma can be for so many types, speaking your truth. And
Well,
that's just in our world.
Check in on this section with the Civil X guys, because I think a lot of these Karma pieces can be directly related to Shadow or City, right? And can be moving in that direction all the time, where we put some type of higher interface or higher frequency interface in front of somebody on a quest. If they're in their shadow and all of a sudden they're in a quest that involves beings operating in their cities, and in particular, a harmonic of that shadow, right? So it's linked to that. So what ends up happening is that shadow gives way to a gift in that direction, which emerges into the city. So I think that the karma system can be directly tied to how the gene keys represent consciousness in any scenario.
I just reached out to, again, because that's why I haven't coded for a month. I've been in networking. I've just, you know, I said I contacted Dan. I contacted Threefold again, and I contacted Core Network, Adam, and I contacted Gene's Key, and I contacted Human Design, and I'm asking for API integration. So it's exactly what he's bang on point, because this is exactly, and CFX. I'm trying to get a call with Jordan, but obviously everything's really busy. But the universe has been telling me for ages, so I put it out there now. So I put it out to the field. So now I was divine timing to get back to me. Like, you know, my inner work I've done now, I've let go of it all, so I'm actually much happier, more peaceful place. I'm not trying to force things. I'm not trying to pressure things. I surrender to divine timing, and now I'm in a happy place again now. So let's let it all flow. And I feel this is ignition point, like November, December, especially solstice. It's just gonna freaking go. I think we're all gonna come together now, and it's just gonna
Rainbow Bridge.
Rainbow Bridge. It's launch time. This is
December 21st.
Yeah. I'll just quickly wrap this up. So you've got maps, missions. You know what you saw earlier on the front end, the OASIS API. Mark, and you can watch in the replay that part I did. This is the back end bit, when you can do maps on the map, missions, different providers, players. I'll provide a type. So this is types I've got so far. So you've got logos supported. Well, we're going to be supported. I told you one's already built: Holochain, Ethereum, EOS.io, Telos, Seeds, and Mongo and SQLite. But these are all. Just give you an idea. You got Oracle. You got Mongo. You got Scuttlebutt, ActivityPub, IPFS, Solid, Hashgraph, and every other single bloody blockchain and network and storage thing you can imagine. This is going to be a very big list. One day this is going to grow. This is going to be like millions of lines just in here, because this is going to be the whole internet. This is going to be a provider for every single freaking thing that exists on the planet. So that's going to be quite a lot. But it has to be done. This is how we're going to connect everything together. One other thing, in the core is interfaces. So you can see, you saw like the avatar earlier. This is avatar stuff, the Karma and Karma earned, Karma lost. Oh yeah, the Karma Akashic records. That's a record of all the Karma you earned and lost. So that's where everything you've done, every good deed and bad deed is stored in your Karma Akashic record. That's another little cool thing I did in Partly. That's why I love Holochain and Chris's stuff, because we're all like just inspired by the universe. And then we got so every base object's Holon. So this is where I said this is the iHolon objects. This is what I was talking about. Everything's got ID, name, description, provide the key, the celestial body linked to a zone. It might be linked to another holon, because you can have like fractal, so you have many holons coming off this, or list of holons, and then who created it, what avatar created it, who modified it, standard like stuff. But rather than user, I used to have user ID and profile ID, but now you won't find user profile anywhere in my code base. Everything's an avatar. Everything's avatar. I've managed to everything's all updated to the new universal language. This is the OASIS net provider. So the moment it's just get holons near me, get plays near me. So I was thinking of Holochain when I wrote that. And that's like activating different providers, drawing sprites and storage. A minute storage has got load, save avatar with different overloads, and then delete. There's just standard stuff, and then add subtract Karma, and then search, and then the storage errors, and then you've got planets that inherit from a celestial body. You've got the star and the moon in here, because even the star is a celestial body as well, and celestial body inherits from a holon. So everything is a holon, and then you've got managers that are like, obviously manage all the code for this. Won't go into this. This is a save load. I think you get an idea now. So quite a lot's been built. So then the park manager is like comes off the quest manager. That's got to be built.
You mentioned search. Did you have you worked on anything that resembles the synergy engine? That was going to be I saw that as well in one of my visions. But that piece is kind of like more Tan and Brett's pieces. That's the part that they're going to plug in. Since the search was basically minute searches, so you can search across like the whole system. You can search for different types and things. But also, we can plug a synergy engine where you can match up in people's different needs and types. That can also be influenced by human design and gene keys. Okay, wonderful. And I have maybe some partners that I want to introduce or make sure that that Brett and Tan are also working with a lot of groups that are part of the Buckminster Fuller Institute, because he wrote a couple of books on synergetics, and they are very interested in a concept of synergy engine. Again, they already went down that path for a little bit, and now they're coming back to it because technology is catching up to how it might actually. So it cut out towards the end there, but I think I've got most of it. You still there? Yeah.
Mark, you're on mute. Mark, you're on mute.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything.
Oh wait, okay, okay. Okay. I thought it cut out. So you finished, yeah. So like that's why it's all time to bring our pieces together now. And so it's all like we're all seeing different parts of the same thing now, and it's just beautiful to see all the synergies. And it's just I'm really glad I don't know why it's taking me so long, because I don't think this was ready yet. You know, I'm a perfectionist and I wanted to have more to show, but I realize now like it's time to show the tree trunk, because this will help people start plugging into it, because then it's going to really speed up. This is what about, you heard of Apollo? Apollo is like what a big thing in holochain circles. And Apollo is like a GraphQL like implementation, and Apollo has a really cool thing, and it wraps around like your RESTful service. So the current OASIS API RESTful service are going to wrap around with Apollo, and then that automatically makes it a GraphQL, and that plays really nicely with the current like holochain community and ecosystem, because that's a really big, because GraphQL and holochain goes really well as well. So that's my work I did here. And a minute there was no integration with .NET, so I started building my own .NET holochain, .NET Apollo. Again, have them do well first, because no one built it yet. So I thought, frick it, I build it myself then. This is why it's taken so long, because I'm trying to build out like so many different things that I haven't built. Like, you know, you think like Art and Eric like broke off a bit of September building a holochain. Well, I started off going one route, and then I come to another piece and it wasn't built yet. So I had to start building it myself. But that's why I think had been slowed down, because now other people are building the pieces, so I don't have to build every single part. So that's where this is the Apollo stuff, of how Apollo server and client, and integrating with that. And this is Arc, which was the old name for HoloWeb. This is what Chris is doing, Chris Larkin. When I was in Bali and we were synergizing, it showed me Arc, and that's now been renamed to HoloWeb. It's evolved into HoloWeb, and that's what we call the membrane. And that allows Arc to talk to .NET, and this is just what I said. This is uses the Node.js stuff. So Node.js talking to this, and this is what we're talking about here. This is a course he wanted about QR codes and blueprints, Bluetooth devices, and Jordan circles and things, because it's got a thing called a cyber API, and that's what he uses to render his UIs. And we're going to port it to Unity. So this is the start. I started building this as well in Bali, and that's. So everything's like the groundwork. I basically built the groundwork for a lot of stuff, and all needs building out. This is why you see why I need help. You see how many bits are like need padding out. But I'm the architect, so I've laid the groundwork. This is like the scaffolding. And I built out the avatar and the karma parts, and the provider. That's the bits. The rest is scaffolding and the start system I started building. The rest is ready for everyone else to come play and help build it. So yeah, I think it's about time. Now, hopefully this video will help that, because you've seen it's quite a lot here, but it needs a lot more love and TLC. This is the front end I started building as well for the OASIS API. And that's the Unity front end, the web front end. But the Unity front end is basically the Our World smartphone prototype. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention that. I announced it here. I quietly released the open source code for the Our World smartphone prototype about a month ago. The Unity developer working part-time with me, he helped me get it onto GitHub, because problem with Unity is gigs and gigs. It's massive, and GitHub kept rejecting my code because it's too big. It was like over 3-4 gig in size, because maps, you know, obviously that's a lot of all the media files. It takes up a lot of space. So the back-end code's small. You know, it's a lot of code, but the payload size of it is smaller, because when you use the user interface like Unity, a game, that's massive. It's like 3 gig in size. Now, this is still quite big, but GitHub likes back-end code more than front-end code. So it took me like 2 years just to get the freaking code into GitHub for the Unity front end. I'll show you that another time. The code's there. Maybe I'll just show you. It does exist. So people want something solid. So I'm showing people it's not just a dream. It's not a vision. It's not an idea. There's real code, and I'm proving it now. After this, I will show you there's code for the front end too. It is there.
Finally.
It just needs some people to help. I was just embarrassed because I'm a perfectionist, and I wanted to be like. I really want to be like Ready Player One, OASIS, like James Halliday. I want to be like, da-da, he's the racist. Like out of nowhere, I want to build all this on my own. Well, not on my own, but I just wanted some help. But I wanted to build it, but I realized that I can't build it on my own. Like I had to go open source, but I went open source, and then no one came and helped. I was like, oh, okay. And it was divine timing, so I hadn't done this video yet. I had to build more out of it. But this is the next bit as well, and they've got ode nodes. Like I said earlier on, ode nodes run different nodes. They're split like the Holoport nodes, and I'm working on this book, but you see here, Ode Nix OS. I've got a fork of the this is a fork of the Holoport code, and I've started plugging in my code into here. So basically, I've upgraded. I want Holochain to do it. So again, I had to do it myself because they weren't talking to me. So I was like, all right, fine. I'll just fork your code and I started them. This is why I think I'm so slow, because I keep changing direction every freaking 2 minutes. I get excited with things and then I don't finish it. So this is why I started upgrading the Holoport code to be able to run the OASIS on Holoports on a Holochain. Because originally, the Holoports are going to be running on the Holochain code. So the OASIS API you saw earlier, you saw it's on OASIS platform.world. That's hosted on just a Windows server right now. But this will enable it to host it on all the Holoports around the world. So then be truly decentralized, distributed. So this is the Holoport code started blending with the OASIS API code. And then an OPortal, I'm still thinking about that. OPortal is like the organizer. OPortal is it's a collection of O nodes. So the O nodes is controlled by the OPortal. The OPortal is the OASIS portal, the central portal, and that's what the OASIS platform is going to go into eventually. In a minute it's the API, but eventually it's just going to be the controller that then delegates traffic, load balances the O nodes. OPortal basically load balances the O nodes. It makes sense. Again, this is why I need people like Holochain and Art and Eric and people who are like network distributed and gods like Nico, and this is why I need help with it, because some of these areas aren't my areas. I can do it, but I actually specialize what I do best. And so I started doing this part, but I need some help with some of the networking stuff. And then this is O node. Again, this is the web UI Blazor front end talk about. This is so when you're running these O nodes on your Holoport, this is like the web UI, again, full WebAssembly. So that's WebAssembly front end, WebAssembly back end running on the Holoport. That's going to be fast as effing fast. And then you've got a Blazor front end, HTML front end, Razor. This is just me prototyping. A lot of this is prototype when I was just experimenting with different things, but Blazor is definitely the way to go. And then this is the different providers that I said early on, been building out. And again, to prove to you, look, this is the OASIS.io, this is the real code. This has got smart contracts in here. This has got the OASIS smart contract written, I think it's C++. This is why I'm really grateful to the developers that helped me. So 2 developers helped me. One developer helped with the OASIS.io, and the other developer helped with the Ethereum. So this is the OASIS.io. That, by the way, that's what Seeds runs on. This is why I built this first. Well, the guy helped me build it. So Telos runs on OASIS.io and Seeds runs on Telos. So this is how OASIS API is ready to talk to Seeds. And I've already done some test stuff, and I can't really talk to Seeds stuff. But that's why I joined them to help build out the API. So yeah, I won't go too far into that. And then Ethereum, again, it exists. Look, smart contracts, Ethereum OS. So this is so this is the accounts when you basically the task when you look on the GitHub repo, they've got a thing called Crest in the issues, and I had an Ethereum Crest and I had an EOS.io Crest, and part of this Crest is the first thing is just load and save the avatar object. Once you've got load and save an avatar object, I can then reverse engineer it and then in the code for the rest of it, for the hold-ons and everything else. So you see all the examples, it's loading and saving the avatar object, which is why the current OASIS API, supports Holochain, Ethereum, EOS.io, MongoDB and SQLite, and the Holo Oasis I've already showed earlier on. I've already talked through all these other ones, and then Mongo obviously exists as well. And this is the Mongo code, the avatar repository. Again, basic CRUD methods for loading and saving. And then searching. Oh, your search is working as well. The search is the only search implemented right now is in MongoDB. So Mongo allows you to search across the OASIS as well. So that's all the code for Mongo, and that's it. So that's basically it. That was really rushed though. I could talk a lot. I could talk for hours about this code. There's not more I skimmed over, but I didn't want to. It's a lot to go in on the first go. But the only thing I'll just show, I won't actually go into the code, but just to prove, if I go on to wait, screen sharing, I've got to change the screen. Can you see this on? Oh yeah, you can't see it. So I'll just change it to one. But it is right at the end now, guys. Just 1 minute, and then we finish. Sorry, I know it's a lot, and then you can play back after. So if you go on to Next Gen Software UK, you got. Can you see that? Yeah. So that's the OASIS API, this top one. So it started bloody hell. It's been 2 years since I first checked it in. So the actual code, last time I did code was over a month ago. That was me updating the README. So that's what you just saw. So you guys can, that's the documentation if you want to go and find out more and look at it. We can provide the links as well. All the links are on the AdWorld website, and this is quite interesting. You look at what's in there. C# only 52%. I thought it'd be most of it. You got CSS, Rust, obviously Nix, JavaScript, HTML, and just a shout out. This is Jason. Jason, thank you, my friend. I think Jason built the EOS IO provider, and Harry, he built Alexander, but he's like Harry Potter. He likes Harry Potter. He built Ethereum. He built Ethereum. So that's why I knew he's meant to work for us, because he's like a big Harry Potter fan. So he's magical. And obviously that's me with my heart for the world. But what I was going to show you, that's been there for 2 years, but right below that is here, the AdWorld smartphone prototype, and that's the Unity code. And that's the BEB, which is private. That's the construction workflow management system. It's a shame because I'm working on Colin to open up. It doesn't open up yet, so I can't really show you this. But half this year, I did loads of work, and it's an amazing use case of the OASIS API. It's built on top of the OASIS API, and it's going to revolutionize construction business. And it's got smart contract management system in there, and that's why I'm going to make it generic and break that part out and make it generic in here. That's what I said a bit early on. It's called the SCMS. So that's half my year was building the BEB. And then you see, then it's been a lot of the background OASIS, and then this is why the Unity developers. This is the Unity front end. Look, it's very lonely and sad. It needs, and this is like C++, and this has got iOS version and Android version, and a lot of C++, shader labs, HTML, Objective-C, and Unity and C#. So it's quite a nice blend of stuff, and you can check this out. I haven't announced this yet because I don't know. I was embarrassed. I didn't want to show it to people until look. See, was saying this. That believe in myself. I'm just perfectionist, and I wasn't ready to show the world. But I think it's time to show the world, because how else am I going to get help, right? So I just got to bite the bullet, and it's not as ta-da as I want it to be. I want it to be a fully working prototype with the Unity front end before I show the world. But things take longer than you wish. But I think it's good enough. I think that's what Universe is trying to tell me. It's good enough, right? It's time to go public, I think.
Awesome. So, I'm so happy that finally this is recorded, released, shared, expressed, taken out of your inner self into the outer world. It was time.
Yeah.
We'll share this to reach out to all the people that need to be reached out.
And this is Google AR Core. It's got in there AR stuff, and so I had no energy, but when I talk about my passion, everyone else gets knackered. Like Lumi's falling asleep, and I'm like full energy now. Like and this, the OASIS Avatar Manager and our Manager. This is the code. You know the demo you saw in February of the map. This is the code behind it, just so you know. So yeah, I'll show you this next time. Maybe do a follow-up call, and I'll show you the Unity code.
I think we could have every week, David. We could have every week, every Wednesday. Like an update, or well, I don't know if every Wednesday, but at least set the intention of meeting regularly, as we just did today, to really dig deeper into people that want to know more, and developers. It's easier to set the mind about Wednesdays. OASIS API discussion, integration, and making this regular, because I think this is just about to explode in questions and requests and discussions, and so maybe we could set Wednesdays for that.
Yeah, it'd be good to get some momentum going, and hope it'd be great to get some people sort of jumping in, because I was going to ask you guys. I want to try and do like a hackathon as well. It'd be great. That's another idea I had. Like, can do like a OAP hackathon. Holochain have hackathons to build Holochain apps. Why not have hackathons to build OASIS applications? And about the first hackathons would be actually help me build the rest of the core, and hackathons to build the providers, hackathons to build up the providers, hackathons to help build up the core stuff, and hackathons to help build up the Unity front end. So I've 8 years I've been working on this. So like I've come this far. So now I think it's time for everyone else to step up everyone out there and help me build the OASIS. And I feel like God, I couldn't pronounce his name, but you know the main guy in Ready Player One, the Wade Watts. I can't pronounce his avatar name. Pretzel, Wade Watts. Percival, yeah, I can't pronounce it, so I just dyspraxia. Yeah, Parsifal. Yeah, it's like him when he's doing that speech with the big force field. It's like, help me save the OASIS. That's what I'm doing now. That's what I'm going to do video soon with my Anuak costume on. I'm going to do Anuak's invitation, and it's going to be about me, like, say, come help build the OASIS, help save the OASIS. So it's like my invitation is come and join the party now. Yeah, so that's me done. So any more questions I can answer or anything? If everyone's still asleep or awake, I don't know.
I was enjoying your energy and your passion when you were sharing all of this. It was beautiful. It's really great to see you so happy. And so smiling.
I'm so tired and ill for a start. I was tired and ill for a started. I was like, oh, and then the more I talk about it, the more energized I get because it's my passion.
Look at Debbie, how happy he is as well. So smiling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss my baby. I want to start coding again. Is everyone still here? Because I can't even see anymore. All I can see is my screen. All I can see is noughts and ones and code.
Yeah. Debbie, what are your thoughts?
Ah, there you are. Hello, everyone. So I haven't seen anyone for ages. I just saw the code. I was just in my own world. So thank you for sticking with me. Some people dropped off. But I thought it'd be like tumbleweed. I finished talking and it's just Lumi there. Well, maybe Mark left. It's like, oh, Evan left.
Are you kidding? You had our rapt, undivided attention. We were like glued to the screen. We're like, oh my God, this is the history in the making. The day Ready Player 2 comes out.
It'd be funny if I stopped. I thought I stopped talking, and then it'd just be me on the call, and even Mark and Lumia left. And I'd be like, "Oh, how long was I just talking to myself for?" So, oh well, I've recorded. I can still use this. It's all right.
A couple of hours.
I'm used to talking to myself. It's fine.
Well, thank you. We really enjoyed this. Is amazing, incredible. It's what I've been looking to see. I dreamed it existed and could never be sure, and here you are, you know, revealing this to us for the first time.
Yeah,
David.
it's real.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry it took us so long. It's just I just like, it's my baby, and you know how, you know, Mark might understand, techie, when it's your baby, right, you don't want to show it. I'm a perfectionist. I wouldn't show it until it's ready, but the thing is, it'll never be ready. It'll never be good enough. My standards are so high, I'll never be like, nope, you can't see it yet. And I'll be over 20 years still building a prototype, but I need help. So I got to like just bite the bullet and take a leap of faith and jump now, don't I? I just got to jump, and then hopefully I'll fly, and then people will come fly with me, and we can all fly together and create a better world.
Yeah.
Ernie Klein, if you're listening, please promote this, please. Let's stop talking about the OASIS and let's freaking build it, yeah? Let's just build it.
We are building it. It's being built. It's being built.
Faster.
We're just revealing.
A lot faster, because I've been 8 years. It's felt like 800 years. I'm not joking. Every year it's felt like a lifetime.
4 weeks away from the OASIS ignition. 4 weeks. And I know this sounds crazy, but it is going to happen. I'm sure about this.
I've seen it now. I got the signs. I'm starting to have faith because, you know, I won't go too much my personal journey. I stopped believing, and I didn't stop believing, but I went through a lot of hard knocks, and I got a lot of setbacks, and I lost a bit of my mojo, enthusiasm. I still never lost it. When I'm coding, I get it back. But when I wasn't coding, I was getting really depressed, and I'm just thinking, is it ever going to happen? You know, like so many false starts, and so many times money's coming, not coming. People help me, and they leave again, and I was just like, oh. You know what I mean? It's like the universe is playing me like a carrot, like in front of me, like not quite yet. But I think it's divine timing, and I think it is December 21st. That is the solstice point, and I realized that I always feel I'm late. I keep think I'm way behind schedule, but I actually think I'm actually bang on time. And this is a Superman journey. I had to go through this on my own in the Fortress of Solitude. Superman is in the Fortress of Solitude. I had to build this on my own, like until it's a certain point to pass my own quests. Pass my own inner journey, do my own inner shadow work, and learn some patience and surrender and trust. And now I've done the inner work, it's time for the outer work. Now that inner work will be reflected on the outer, because now the inner's sorted out, now reflect on the outer. And now it's time to like really build out fast. But I have to pass the test.
Perfect for Jupiter and Saturn showing up as almost one planetary body in the sky on December 21st, moving into Aquarius at the same time.
This is the dawning of the Aquarius.
Yeah.
David, you know that song as well. Come on, sing it with me.
Oh yeah, when the moon
Yes,
is
in
seventh
the seventh house.
and Jupiter
Yeah.
lines
How is
with
it?
Mars.
Performed by the Fifth Dimension.
Guys are
No,
planet,
that's
and
so blatant. That's not even
will
subtle, is
not
it?
stars. This is the
This is the dawning of the age of
Aquarius,
Aquarius.
the age of our world.
David, come on, sing, dude.
I don't know the words off the top of my head. I know the song. I can hear it, but I just had an idea. On the video, I'm gonna put that song on. On the end of this video, I'm gonna make it fade out with that music. I'm gonna make the music come on, and it'll fade out to the age of
Perfect. I love
Aquarius.
that.
I thought it'd be good to do that maybe, and a fade on. At the beginning, it'll fade it like fade in, and then fade out at the beginning, and at the end it'll fade out like the music. Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. Thanks, guys.
Okay, guys. Well, it's been amazing. Let's just share this with the people that we know. It's time for this to be shown. And I feel like, David, sharing this on Facebook. I would love to share it on my Facebook because many people follow me there. They've been tracking the progress on the things that I've been sharing and the process of creation. And I can tag you there, and we can tag people on that post. And I think that's gonna rapidly, make us weave with the power of, the social networking that we've been doing there. Apart from any other place that we share this. But I think this is the most optimal way, and I want to do it now. So Levi, just share the recording as soon as possible. I will edit out that you didn't see that, Mark, but David David started presenting, and at some point, like someone joined the call and started drawing on the screen, and
Oh, that's right. We had a troll. We had to delete them.
But it was incredible because it was in the most powerful moment that it was gonna be shown. It was like the universe saying, "No, please don't share this, don't release this," or some kind of forces there trying to prevent that. And they said, "No fucking way!" And we just went on, exposed the troll, and restarted the discussion, which actually is brilliant because every interference just makes us more powerful and made us laugh so much that we refocus with a much better energy into it all. So
yeah, it's just funny because like me, I'm so grateful for Lumi, because there's only one, the first soul on the planet who and probably Mark as well, and everyone here actually. I'm really grateful to all of you. But Lumi's one, we've been shouting. He saw the same thing. He saw the same vision, and and he saw how big it was. And he saw how this unites everything. He kept saying, I keep saying, I'm really grateful for sharing it, and saying how it unites everything. And I said, yes, it's the thing that brings us all together. It's unity consciousness. And the other won't go too far, but the other team, the other side, they know how powerful it is. They see the timelines. That's like the angels. They see the timelines and they see what this is going to do to the world. And this is going to bring us all together. It's going to destroy all the silos. It's going to blow all the silos apart and bring us all together, like unify and integrate us as one. Because we're in the technology age, so we've got to start with a tech stack, and then the tech stack models gets reflected into the consciousness of humanity, because everything right now is plugged into, we're all plugged into technology, aren't we? So we've got, this is like the antidote to the virus that humanity has had for all these years, separation consciousness, and all glued to our phones and Facebook, and we're all like separated. The virus
of unity.
But this is the antidote, and they know how dangerous it is. This is the thing that undoes it. I call it anti-brainwashing technology. That's what's built into OASIS, anti-brainwashing technology, and making us think about karma and unity consciousness, and educating people about coming together. And that's why, I had a lot of roadblocks. That's why it's taking so long, guys. That's why if I had, like, it wasn't just not getting help, but it was also, I've had a lot of personal stuff, a lot of health issues. It's been ridiculous. I had roadblock after roadblock after roadblock put in front of me, like resistance. And I know it's been interference, like Chris has had the same thing. But that was all part of the plan. That's why he's Iron Man and I'm Superman. That's our archetypes, because we never gave up. It makes us stronger, and we suffer seriously, like serious health repercussions and our personal lives, and lost everything. But we kept going because it's just been like roadblock of the roadblock. But that was all part of the inspiring story, because it wasn't just like, oh, I got a vision, oh, here's some money, and like Silicon Valley, sell your soul to Silicon Valley, and here's some money and build it. No, we had to like carry on pioneering, building on our own, like through fire and brimstone and hailstones raining down on us, and like this constantly under fire, like machine gun fire, like World War I was just being shot at continuously, metaphysically, like a psychic attack. It's continuous. And now you just saw an example there. You guys just saw it. I've been hacked continuously. I've had so much stuff like thrown at me. Like I can't even go into it. That's another freaking book and video on the blocks. But that was all part of the story. And that's the Superman story about how I didn't give up, and I just took a beating, and I just kept going and going. And probably others have got similar stories they can share. And that's what's going to inspire and empower everyone else. Like if we can do it, everyone can do it. Like there's no more excuses. Like, oh, it's too hard. It's like, no. Well, look what we did. We created this oasis, like out of a hell zone, out of taking heavy fire and heavy casualties. Like, but we did it. Like we achieved a victory. So like that's going to be.
Here we are. Here we are,
yeah.
David. Here we are. Here we are. Phase zero. Phase zero. Phase
oh my God.
zero.
Just
phase
as I said
zero,
that,
phase zero.
I just I said that, and my phone just said the final step to your ascension journey just popped up.
The final countdown.
Confirmation. It's confirmation what I just said. This is the final. Yeah, this is the final. And that song came on the other day as well. That song came on when I released something. I think it was something big thing I was doing. Justice League Academy.
Okay, guys. Okay, so let's wrap it up.
Let's
wrap it up here. It's late here in Europe, a little bit later than where you are, David. Debbie or Mark, you want to make any final comment or remark before we close? And also, I think it's Lira here. I just can share. I want to share that I'm very proud of everything that you've done, David. I've been, following your work over the last. More intensely the last month. I know what you've been going through, the process that we've been going together in understanding who we were and what we represent, and what we've shared about our difficulties. But I am absolutely sure that everything that we go through is just meant to make us stronger and actually have the experience that would allow us to resonate with other people that have gone through similar experiences. And so everything that we go through is a blessing, can be seen as that, if we are able to see it from that perspective. So all that hardship that you've gone through that I am very aware of, I would say just maybe, a small percentage, because it's almost impossible to know the depth of everyone's inner journey. But what I've got to know is really, it's been intense, and I'm very proud of what you've been able to accomplish with so much, things in the road. And I believe that this is a milestone, what you just shared with us, because it's gonna make it finally stay or be at the place that it was meant to be since the very beginning. And just let's explode this up. Let's implode it. Implosion is more about love. Explosion is more, implosion is love, which is actually about attraction into synergizing with what you have.
I have to do like I have to look a part. I think can we do a part 2 video? There's some more bits I want to go on to later on. And one thing is like
next Wednesday we can organize next Wednesday another one for sure. I think we will meet, in fact. So mark that on your calendar.
I've got to go more into the .NET HDK and what you talk about with CRISPR and Philip Beadle and where his work, and I'm really working on integration. I'm going to fork that because that is similar to what my vision of the .NET HDK was, like a 5G wizard, so you can plug and play different bits. But imagine CRISPR in 10 years time, a holochain. That's what I'm building. It's like it's the evolution of that. It's what comes next. And it's not just holochain. It's like CRISPR for the whole world, like everything. So imagine integrating that to OASIS API. That's why I really need holochain and to take notice now and start supporting this, because this is going to be massive and it's going to really boost holochain's exposure in the world. But I can't do it on my own anymore. It's massive. You saw there's so many bits I've started and I had to keep starting and stopping, changing directions because it's overwhelming. That's what needs to be built. but I've laid the groundwork. I've laid the scaffolding. Now I just
Yeah.
need people to help build it out now with me, please, please.
Yeah. Well, the SDKs are critical for getting that help, right? So that people can work on the different sections as they and how they fit into the whole architecture. That's why I mentioned CRISPR, was simply because it's kind of a development tool, right? And
Yeah.
it, maybe even just seeing some of the actual code of it, or just having a conversation with Philip, you know, can make another connection at the, you know, the sharing of network resources, development resources.
That's why I need people to help connect to me. This is what I won't go into all, but it's also interference. Like people don't respond. I message people. I've been trying to get hold of Philip Bill and many others in Holochain, and not just Holochain, everything. But it's just falls on deaf ears. I literally talking to a brick wall, and it's tumbleweeds like you see in my Telegram group. It's just interference all the time, but it's part of my faith and patience. So I try to make connections, and then I can't connect if I don't respond. But I'm thinking that I needed to get a certain checkpoint, a certain milestone, like this video maybe, and how to get a certain way. I don't know. I've got to somehow increase people's value. You know, that's why I need you guys' help to help people understand what I'm building, what we're building here, so the value in their eyes increases, so they can give me the time of day to respond to my messages. I know the way busy people. I had to learn not to take it personally, but it's been very difficult to try to do.
Yeah. Well, a lot of their development cycles are really being pushed, especially during an economic crash. So yes, they're moving faster. And so have little time for a 2.5, 3 hour video. So editing it down, getting it concise enough that it covers the pieces, and how pervasive, how extensive this architecture is, and some of those key hooks, you know, where, you know, you see where, oh my gosh, this will give us a whole bunch more exposure, whole bunch more integration, whole much more how we do it together.
Yeah.
You can actually tag people. I mean, if this video is posted on Facebook, you can tag people and say, look at minutes 35,
exactly.
37.
Yeah.
It's really easy just to have the overview, but just, you know, when people are watching, or when we rewatch, we can tag, hey, we're mentioning you here, hey, so that we increase the, you know.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of, I've been using the transcripts on some of these long videos, and looking for keywords and leaving the timestamps there, so you can kind of index the longer videos to zoom in on what areas you'd like to hear. I even have been doing a lot of word maps based on videos, just to give the summary of what this long video focuses on. That's simple to do with YouTube videos.
I'm going to make them, because I was thinking about this for a while. I'm going to make a little video as well. Just go through the code again. You know the code I went through, but it's just going to be me. I'm just going to do my little video myself. Just talk through the code. It'd be like a little 10-15 minute, like, just because then it's not discussing. It's not be like people aren't asking questions, and it'd be a much more concise version. So that'd be nice to pair with this. So that'd be like a quick version, and then you want to deep dive, you go into this longer video. That's another thing I was thinking about. So
beautiful. That's your ticket in the door. That's your ticket in the door.
It's 10-minute races, quick glance, and if you want to jump into more discussions, then here's us talking about it, kind of thing.
Well, you remember when Nico did that? I think it was supposed to be like a 5-minute explanation of Holochain, and it ended up being closer to 8 minutes, but it was really good. And it's short enough that if you catch that, you know, you can get developers helping you. And I don't know how big the team is at Holochain is now, but it's large. And a lot of that stuff can be boiled down, condensed into something that really hits some of the key integration aspects of these evolutionary platforms. And that gets showed. I shared with Lyra, she asked about gravity, and I put in to her private, I'm putting it in the main chat now, with Harlan talking about gravity for EXA, the Economic Space Agency, those short little videos that conceptually cover what you're doing, but are technical enough that you go, oh yeah, oh, I really see that how that works. Then that gets shared around, and that kind of goes viral on some of the developer groups, especially right now where things are shifting so much, and some systems are getting bought up and some systems are breaking up, and some real talent is sitting there available to work with you to help build it out further.
It gives me an idea, you know, just if we have that like short video form that, as you described, you know, shows that this is real, and certainly it is from what we've seen today and knowing David. If we put that together with the Civil X trailer that Lumi sent me the other day, and another short form would be to demonstrate something around the crypto, the karma, and how we award things. Like I suggested, it was in the paper this week that the Mardi Gras parades are thinking of issuing a digital coin that a kid could redeem for a bicycle. Well, if we can use some identification application and machine learning to determine who's watching, like a child from Children's Hospital, for example, could receive a coin for their Make-A-Wish, or a needy child could receive a coin for a bike and go to the den and get it. So sorry, I'm like brainstorming here. I don't know. I thought maybe y'all would know a developer that could demonstrate that capability in the tokenization and redemption of a coin, and then put those three together with David Ellams, Our World, and a game like Civil X where they have an amazing Unity-based user interface, and a redeemable token like Dream Coins at Dream Tank. Oh my God, I could show that to so many people in Louisiana right now. That would be incredible.
I've got a user interface as well. On top of that, did you see the video done in February of the Our World UI? I didn't show it in this presentation. Maybe that'd be next week, I think, because C's want to see that as well. The Unity front end. Have you seen the Unity front end? It's a 3D map of the world, and you can zoom in and pan around.
Oh, I did see it way back. I gotta look at that again.
Yes, that is the front end. But that's why I wanted to wait until I had more Unity developers to help integrate the Quests and the Parks API. You know, so you get Quests and Parks.
Yeah,
that's what he's been working on. But now he's had to stop working again because he's got to go. He's working a full-time job. And that's why it's annoying. It's like, I keep thinking I'll be ready soon, and then that's why I've delayed it. That's why I've delayed this and delayed it and delayed it, and I can't delay it anymore. So I just got to like just release what I have. Because people want to play the front end, but it needs more work, and it needs to be plugged into the OASIS API, and that's what I'm going to do, and the Parks part. But it's close. It's all like everything's at 95%. It's so freaking close. But you know, tech stuff, it gets to 95% and stops. That's what it's like. It's got to 95%. It's so. I just need a few developers, just need a couple of developers. Like after a few developers of a month to 2 months, we'll be done. We have a prototype, a fully working prototype, fully integrated, front end and back end, and then we can get some serious attention and funding. I just need a little bit of help to push it over the line, you know, because just on my own, it's just trying to do the blogs and the website and all the non-techie stuff as well. It's just like, and with my health, I need to get 2 to 3 hours a day of productive time because I have to continue to just rest and meditate and do yoga and just like get nature, just to ground. It's been intense in his energies, so it's just been a lot. But that's all part of my journey, just trusting kind of thing. Even my 2 to 3 hours a day is still better than nothing. It's still moving forward, isn't it? So I'm hoping to speed up too as well.
Cool. Lida, I don't know if you're there. Maybe you want to make a question or something. I don't know if you're there. Lida and Nate from Great Works Alliance. Probably not. David, you wanted to say something to finish, wrap up?
Yeah, that was it really. The next, I was saying next week I'll talk more about the .NET HTK, about the advantages that has and things, you know, about how saying it basically, you know, I'll just wrap up. I'll just say like literally the 2 minutes is like .NET HTTK enables you to build whole chain applications faster. It opens up to .NET and Unity ecosystems, which are massive. Opens up to the massive enterprise business world, because most people use .NET, and it's like a 4th generation language, but like CRISPR, you know, allowing them to just drag and drop and build applications really fast. So holochain applications, but also OASIS applications. So that's my vision of the .NET HTTK that I started on. So it has many benefits. Just so I think when people understand what I'm building, I think holochain are going to get really excited and get on board with it. That was the first point. And the other point was, again, I'm going to go into more detail in another video. I've got this thing called the Justice League Academy and Your Second Chance. I'm about to release that to the world, and that's basically a next-gen developer training course teaching people everything they know, making apps and games, integrated with mindfulness, yoga, meditation, and then you can work on our world and his apps. You can build the OASIS application. No previous skills or experience, no background required, anything. You can just come and learn how to code, and you learn to code on a real application. So that's like believe in yourself again, and basically help find everyone's gift for the world, and basically help all disadvantaged people, homeless, unemployed, autistic people, kids on the streets. It's just to help everyone basically, and they can just come and build on the real applications rather than having to work on something to just throw away again. So that's a little plug for that. So don't think you need to be a coder. If you're just interested in coding, then please come and contact us, because that's what the training course is for. So then, and as you're learning, you actually help build this. So it's a win-win, and then eventually you get paid as well. So that's another big thing. And university's telling me to get that done, because that's where I'm going to find my developers as well. So yeah, I just want to put a little plug for that in, and I'll talk more about that soon in the future.
Okay. Cool. Okay. David. Great. Yeah. Cool. Let's keep talking on our threads, chats. Let's post this. David, share it with me, and let's keep this ball rolling. Put in your mind, David, next Wednesday as continuation, if not before, but at least
yes, I'll make this a recurring meeting on Wednesday if I can get everybody's email from you.
Cool. Okay. Thank you.
Good. Go into a bit more detail. Yeah, thank you everyone. Cool. Thank you for your time.
Peace.
Thank you, David.
Great.
Peace.
Cheers,
bye,
guys.
Mark. Bye, David.